All right. Hello. Hi, everyone. So you might have noticed the up in quality. Now I know it's working because I've tested this multiple times. Airplane mode's on, so no disturbances, no incoming calls, none of that. Nothing that can interfere with this. Um, so this is how I decided to go about this. OBS automatically switches from that. Because for some reason it's grayed out. Uh, so the mic auxiliary port thing is grayed out on OBS. I've updated it. I've done everything for some, and I've even checked off mono, not mono, increased the gain, bunch of stuff, and also have tried to do the audio the other way, um, through the phone, right? So everything's hooked up to the camera, but for some reason, the expanders, compressors, and everything just doesn't seem to work out. So we're doing it all traditionally, technically the way it's supposed to be done, but no one does this because of the sheer volume of reaction videos and how they're not supposed to take up that much space. So I figured it might be an interesting time to just get everything up and running and increase the quality in not just the resolution, but this as well. Now, if for some reason I've downgraded the for some reason I end up just downgrading maybe later on to 1920 by 1080p or less than 4K, it's probably because I've run out of space. And technically I shouldn't have done this in 4K either because it is a lot of space. I know that even a 20-minute or so thing ends up taking away like probably around the same thing, if not a half hour, it takes up like 20 gigs. So this being around a little bit more than 1.5 hours should take up like possibly maybe 100 gigs of space, if not more. Let's round it higher, maybe like 120, right? 120 gigs of space for 2 hours. So this is just 20 minutes shy of that. So maybe it will end up taking that much space, but luckily I've hooked it up here so I can monitor if it's still recording or not, or if it says I'm low on memory. And if it is, at which point I think we're gonna have to pause this and transfer that and keep recording to maintain the resolution. People know visually that we're in a different meta right now, right? We're in a different age at this point. We are no longer in the age of using OBS and maybe sort of just novice type of. And I wish I would have gotten my sound thing fixed up, but for some reason it just doesn't. But I really want to watch JIN, as I think its themes are important in the modern day with how, regimes will do this and that, and why maybe this sort of will speak to everyone about why you sometimes would want to know, and sort of this complacency theme that you've read through the video messaging of this. So this is what you have right now. So visually you can see we're in a different age and a different meta. We're gonna have to try different approaches, and so thus sort of pushing forward this scope and sort of why we have to change it this way, and maybe that is also another one of the themes of Jinro the Wolf Brigade. Jinro Jinro the Wolf Brigade, and probably why I think it's important to know this, right? It's not like Geno Cyber or um so maybe sort of things like Geno Cyber or Violence Jack or some other classic anime. But I have seen the video essay on this. So we're looking forward on this and sort of its themes, complacency and why it's easier than just having to live. But let's just get started on this because I have been dying to sink my teeth into this. So let's just go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and be checking every once in a while to make sure it's still recording. So maybe about 30 to 45 minutes in, we'll probably check up on if this is still recording very well. All right, we seem to be in. All right, so let's just go ahead and start this bad boy. All right, and with that being said, yeah, there we go. Concerned about public safety to avoid violating the new constitution, which restricts the use of the self-defense forces, and to keep local police forces from forming, the government chose an alternative path with its activities limited to the capital. A new paramilitary force was established under the direct command of the National Security Committee. This was the birth of the Capitol Police Organization, or the Capitol Police. Highly mobile and heavily armed, the Capitol Police quickly expanded its power and declared itself the guardian of public order. However, seeing bans and other legal restrictions, the enemy anti-government underground as they split and regrouped. In the end, a single group known as the sect emerged, and the situation was basically changed dramatically. Increasingly violent clashes between the sect and the core special unit of the Capitol Police often turned city streets into urban war zones. This led to a backlash of enraged public opinion. The city began to look toward the future, the economic prosperity it promised, were becoming increasingly marginalized. Special unit once known as the Carabots, with her arms and weaponry, not long and hard for detonation. JIN wrote the Brigade. JIN So that's what that means, the Wolf Brigade. That's literal translation.
でアニヤいいだろうお前に任そう所属管制名を
警備部特殊機構大隊第2中隊第3突入小隊所属前衛隊員布施和樹巡査であります。
2日前の2月
Perfect. Oh.
知ってるよな。捜査資料を部外者に提供するには部長の許可が必要で、その室戸部長は反特機勢力の急先鋒だ。ここで俺がお前と会っていること自体、査問の対象になりかねないんだぜ。すまん。まあいいさ。どうせ部内じゃ冷や飯ぐらいの養成校上がりだ。潜水路内で特機第二中隊の包囲を受け、所持していた投擲爆弾に点火して爆死。逮捕歴なし。
A red hood.
組織の方でしたらどうぞお引き取りください。この子はもうあなたたちの仲間ではないんですから。
いや、自分は。
Little Red Riding Hood, right? So she's the older sister of the girl that just ended her subscription to life, essentially. So the guy that confronted so she doesn't know. So he doesn't know. No, he knows, but she doesn't know that he was there. He was in front of her sister when she oofed herself. Broke up Little Red Riding Hood. It's just a copy of the story. Can't talk. Do the exercise.
This 暗視装置の弱点については事前に警告したはずだったな。自分が今どこにいるか、室内の状況は、ドアの向こうに何が予想されるか、建物内の空間の把握がいい加減だから死体の急変に対処できんのだ。よーし、お前、強化服についての訓示を言ってみろ。じゃあお前だ。
強化服は着装時の資格を体で覚え、互いに援護し合って初めてその能力を最大限に発揮するものである。
分かっているのはなぜやらん。たった一人の過ちが全員を死に至らしめるんだぞ。装備を過信するな。頭を使え。で、どう思います？何の話だ？なぜ撃たなかったのか、伏せの話ですよ。おい、
とする治安体制を速やかに確立せねばならん。そのためには組織の統合、指揮系統の一本化こそが緊急の課題なのだが、
首都系潰しに共本しとる総監部の連中にはそのことがわからんのだ。
ある条件付きでな。
特機隊か。どう思う？
口先だけのくだらん連中です。観察部あたりに人睨みされれば尻尾を巻いて小屋に逃げ込むって間、公安委員も本庁に対する牽制のつもりで言質を与えたんでしょう。
そんなところだろうが、連中の情勢認識だけは正確だ。一つの小屋に2匹の犬は入らん。だが2匹の犬のその血が必要なのだとしたら、つがいにすればことは済む。どちらの血筋が残るかは賭けだがな。いくら力を誇ろうと、その優れた血を残せなかった獣はいずれ滅びる。ある種の獣は群れの長になった時、支配下のメスの子供を全て噛み殺すそうだが、時には組織も同じことをやる。突起の友人を裏切るのは心が痛むか。どんな女だ？
死んだ娘と同じ赤ずきんの一人で、ラングハール、本名雨宮慶。前科はありませんが、逮捕歴数回の筋金入りのテロリストです。一家の網にかかって落ちたところを引き取りました。
その女を選んだ理由は？
素性の良さと顔立ちが死んだ娘によく似ていましたので。
折を見て仕掛けろ。それから人狼という組織の名を聞いたことがあるか？
確か特機隊副長の半田が直々に組織した対諜報部隊で、特機内部はもちろん本部や公安部にまで構成員を潜り込ませているとか。本当に存在するんですか、そんな組織が？
まさかとは思うが、半田は占領統治時代、ゲーツバイの要請で対敵諜報部を組織した経歴もある。何を考えているかわからん男だ。一応頭に入れておけ。
現役の特機隊員と女テロリストの許されぬ関係か。部長のやつ、泥臭い手を使いやがる。確かにこの手のスキャンダルは効果が大きいがな。何を考えている？おとぎ話の悪役は昔から狼と決まってるんだ。お前が裏切るのは人間じゃない。
本物を持たせるほど私を信用しちゃいないわ。でも爆弾の受け渡し場所に夜の博物館を指定するなんて、公安も洒落た設定をすると思わない？ましてその場で逮捕された犯人の片割れが現役の特機隊員とくれば、マスコミが一斉に飛びつくわ。
演じてみせるのは自治系だが、筋書きを書いたのは首都系公安部。演出は偏見か？
そこまでしててどうして？
抜けるぞ。
点をかけといて正解でしたよ。
天美、
もしあの男が人狼だったら。
撃ちますよ。のど笛に食らいつかれる前にね。俺は奴とは違う。
現場より逃走した犯人は男女とも銃器で武装。発見次第射殺せよ。繰り返し。
我々は当初から伏せが左門を受けた頃から彼を監視下に置いていた。君が彼と接触した時点で君の身辺も洗わせてもらったよ。
それじゃ
あ初めから承知の上で泳がせていたのさ。諜報戦とはこういったものさ。常に先を読み先手を打った者が優位に立つ。彼らは特機隊の失墜を図るべく彼を生贄の羊に選んだつもりだったんだろうが、罠にかかったのは彼ら自身だったのさ。スキャンダルを恐れなければならなくなったのは彼らであって我々ではない。君というカードが我々の手にある限り公安部もしばらくの間は特機隊に迂闊な手出しはできないというわけさ。俺が奴らの立場でも保険はかけるさ。もっともこの手を偏見に教えたのは俺なんだがな。もう分かったろう。ここにいる男は特機隊の隊員であるとともに常に我々の組織のメンバーだった。そう養成校で私の指導を受けていた生徒だった頃から。
じゃああなたも初めから。そうなの？
人間じゃない。人の皮をかぶった狼なのさ。
人？狼？
神を退治して終わるのは人間が書いた物語の中だけなんだ。
仕方ないじゃない。どうしようもなかったのよ。一緒に行きたかったけどあなたは行くことのできない人だったんだもの。だったらせめて
兄やお前だって人間じゃねえか不正
して寝ていました。母さん、なんて大きな耳をしてるの。母さん、なんて大きな目をしてるの。母さん、なんて大きな爪なの。母さん、なんて大きな歯をしてるの。
So that was Shinro. We still got around 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah. So 4 minutes in, we're gonna see how this goes. The score is pretty good, but I'm just skipping through here. Ending theme. Looks like Hajime Hosobuchi. Musicians, members of Czech Philip Orchestra. Production IG, yeah. Yep. 1999, Bonsai Visual. So that was okay, just checked if we're still going. So that was Jinro. This is one of those films that just oozes with being analyzed and why it's so classic and its necessary themes of the analyzation's better than the film because the film the first time is a bit much. It is a bit much. It's you're trying to figure out what's going on and he's employed here and right, he's been just a cog in the machine. Sort of the way that it works with these regimes, especially the way it's in the beginning. But it is a slower. This is all right. But so that was general, right? This just keeps falling down. Let's just fix this. Let's fix this. Let's fix this. All right. So that's how. So again, the analysis of this is far more interesting, but the movie itself is still very, very striking. But as I don't have a full-on 1080p version of this, it still begs a question of, well, yes, it's good, but it is a slower pace, probably more like a Game of Thrones episode, though not as complex. You are trying to put the themes together because there's not as you're still trying to figure out what's exactly going on and. I'm sure this is definitely one for the rewatches. Essentially, why classic anime is classic. It's a staple, and why they will always be classics. Brilliant, brilliant. So I'm gonna rewatch this again, and I'm probably gonna have a great time editing this together, putting it nicely, and I'm very curious to see how that 4K resolution still ends up being. So, again, not the best, maybe too much detail. So I'm really, again, I really, really love seeing this. It's an absolute classic. The animation, the budget, and at an hour and 30 minutes, it's just perfect. Maybe even a little drags on, maybe 5 minutes extra, but it's still pretty darn precise for what it's trying to tell you. So definitely not one that you get all the themes watching the first time. Even having just learned about this through these video essays, of some of these classics like Violence Jack or Genocyber, or some other harsher anime that's very brutal in its depiction. Right, like Genocyber and Violence Jacks are just OVA bunches that are in the 80s and stuff. So yeah, just a lot of these classic anime. All right, with all that being said, this is not a review by any means, so maybe I'll make reviews later on and transition more into that, and peel back the layers later as I watch this again and again and feel comfortable enough having gone through all the classics in the anime. Eventually. Alright, with all that being said, I guess I'll see everyone in the next one. Goodbye for now.